Exactly how the recently released second episode of the Amazing Digital Circus begins. But as we suspected, it all starts with a dream, Pomni, where she has supposedly dissipated. I hope you've already checked out the second episode because it turned out to be really cool. Honestly, I didn't think it would affect me as much as the first one did. You're always digging into all sorts of information and trying to build guesses, theories, and gradually the interest in the project could be lost. But not so with the Digital Circus. It has touched my little heart again, and the ending is just explosive. The episode turned out to be not as monotonous as it might have seemed at the beginning. Of course, you could think that a lot was happening all at once, and then the episode gradually slows down, and completely different, deeper, and more important things for the plot come to the forefront. We're interested in a character who, in my opinion, the whole episode is dedicated to JAX. In my past videos, I suggested that they would delve into him, and despite the main heroine role being played again by Pomni, JAX was given special attention, and he really got to show himself. While watching, there were moments when it felt like we were seeing a future antagonist grow before us. Not just any NPC or artificial intelligence, but a real one, with his own motives and goals. JAX seemed to be thrilled when he saw that huge cart on wheels, and what a thrill he felt during the chase when he grabbed the gun. At that moment, he realized that he was allowed to do anything, and now he wanted to achieve his goal by any means necessary, as long as he had fun and didn't care about anyone else. However, as always here, JAX clearly outdid himself, acting not just like a fool. Even a band of jelly crocodiles seems positive in comparison. It begs the question, who is the enemy? The one we're trying to ram, or the one who made us ram the opponent? But we'll return to JAX's actions later. I'd like to draw attention to his changing mood during the chase. He catches a real thrill and realizes his impunity, and he's greatly upset that the time of violence is ending. In the end, he is not upset because they almost got killed, but precisely because there was no violence in this adventure. For JAX, it was not cruel enough, which he states outright. At the end, when the monster attacks the kingdom, his ear-to-ear smile returns, and ultimately, he is satisfied with this adventure. Not so much because something terrible happened, but because he caused it. About JAX's crime, yes, he didn't steal the car as we supposed in previous videos. The princess gave it to us, though she said nothing about the gun. But then again, neither did she mention the large number of knives, which was clearly needed to fend off the local bandits in the role of jelly crocodiles. JAX displays other sins. Firstly, he threw out Pomni just like that. Did you ever doubt that he was really bad? Even the cartoon directly talks about it, and how is she wrong? Well, as she tries to help the king, it's a separate kind of art. Secondly, the blackmail of Gangle. JAX not only forced poor Gangle to drive, but he also made her perform various stunts. JAX clearly knows something about Gangle that she wouldn't want everyone to know about. In this case, it's about a certain figurine, and somehow it's specifically the horned Gangle who shouldn't know about it. I dare guess this figurine could have been a gift from the horned Gangle, and perhaps at some point Gangle lost or broke it. Although she could have asked Gain to fix or find the figurine, apparently she was too ashamed to make such a move. It might have been a personal item of the horned ones, and again, Gangle might have broken or lost it, and lied to the horned one. Maybe at that moment, JAX took the blame and thus saved Gangle, making her eternally indebted to him. The third option, of course, would be strong manipulation, but we don't know exactly what happened. We know Gangle's character weakness, which JAX uses, pushing her into blatant actions with risk to life, even considering that characters can't die in the circus. However, this does not negate the fact that JAX made a mess, and Gangle will be blamed for everything. But these are all trivialities compared to what JAX does next. Literally before our eyes, he destroyed an entire kingdom. In other words, he orchestrated a total candy genocide. Yes, they are all sort of NPCs, not alive, but not Sempi said beyond the map. Our bandit Gamigu, who was recently our enemy, is revealed in a completely different way when he learns that he is not real. And as if light, real emotions, manifest in the eyes of the artificial intelligence, the same with the others. And when you think about the fact that NPCs fully realize themselves as living, JAX's act becomes even more horrifying. After all, he made a real deal with the monster, he pulls the heroes out of the abyss, and JAX opens the gates of the kingdom for the monster to devour everyone. And so it happens. Well, suppose the location could eventually disappear. The quest ended. Maybe there wasn't any cruel destruction of the kingdom. It just vanished princesses, her subjects, and monsters, so nothing bad was. But did JAX know this? Yes, he really doesn't care. Especially after such an adventure, he was clearly dissatisfied, because there wasn't enough violence for him, and when he orchestrated a total genocide, he was satisfied. Yes, he's really screwed up in the head. A sadist, completely lacking empathy, whether towards his so-called friends or ordinary NPCs. And this while the other heroes experience quite unpleasant feelings when they hear that the monster is devouring the queen's or princess's subjects. And the main heroine, Pomni, sympathizes with an ordinary game character. She tries to support him, even knowing that he's not real, and even tried to help him. And for a human, such feelings are quite normal, even if we treat the non-living as living. JAX doesn't care about unusual NPC characters. He's ready to use everyone for his entertainment, and the harsher it is, the better, the more fun. And there's a feeling that there are emerging hints of JAX becoming an antagonist. So I would keep an eye on him until the end of the series and watch his behavior and actions. And yet, there was a fleeting scene where a hint of sadness and uncertainty was visible on JAX's face. He's an ambiguous character, as bad as he shows himself, and maybe he doesn't want to be such a fool, but he does it because of some of his complexes. However, I think he'll be sinking deeper and deeper into this mess. In the end, there was a scene that could also show JAX's essence as his previous actions did, and that's why I started talking about an antagonist. The last scene, all the characters together say goodbye to Kaufma, a very sad scene. Each character speaks, and Kaufma remembers him. Seeing all this, Pomni finally begins to feel some support, and that her situation she ended up in isn't that bad. People remain people, even in a terrible situation. Her crazy smile from the ending of the first episode is replaced by a smile of happiness, or at least some joy. Despite everything, we're together. But JAX isn't in this scene. He seems to be distancing himself more and more from his, so to say, friends, and you can mentally feel it. In the pilot, we couldn't imagine JAX separately. In the intro, all names are sung, including JAX's, and JAX is a unique personality among the others. Cheeky, rough, willful, with a peculiar sense of humor. But in the second episode, he is no longer such. Here he is a real scumbag. Yes, he also showed himself like this before, but here they let him loose, and he showed his animal gut. And looking at JAX now, you don't just feel antipathy, even hatred becomes slightly scary. It raises the question, what else will JAX do? And what actions is he capable of next? What in the end, so far I see a trend that Pomni, as the most reasonable person, unites other characters around her, and most likely, they will become friends. JAX may not like such a trend, and he will use the weak link in the role of Gangle to commit as many nasty and disgusting acts as possible. You'll see, even the next adventure won't untie his hands, he'll start causing trouble right in the tent, and from this, JAX will get worse and worse. At this rate, he's headed for dispersion, but before that, he has to commit a lot more mischief, and each will be worse than the last. Here's where I wrap up my analysis. But the story doesn't end here. It's just the beginning of our deep dive into JAX's journey. What are your thoughts on JAX's future in this bizarre yet captivating digital circus? Do you think he will plunge deeper into villainy, or is there a chance for redemption in his storyline? Share your predictions and theories in the comments below. Your insights not only enrich our discussions, but might even spotlight angles I might have missed. Don't just watch the story unfold. Be a part of the community that shapes the discussion. Subscribe to stay updated with the latest analysis, hit the bell icon to get notifications on new uploads, and let's continue this adventure together in the comments section. What do you think is next for JAX, and how do you see the other characters evolving? Let's get the conversation started. This is not the end of our story, and we are waiting for many exciting adventures and stories, and it is wonderful. I hope you've already subscribed and put a bell on it. Good luck, good mood, everyone, and we'll see you in the new video on the Amazing Digital Circus, friends.